What's up, guys? Welcome to Reseller Car Talk with Daily Refinement. This is episode number 1 of a new podcast. I've been reselling now for 8 years, and it's my 7-year YouTube anniversary talking about reselling. I've been doing this a really long time. Today's topic is just start with one listing. And even though I've been reselling for a long time, I've always had this thought to just do one listing. I don't have trouble starting, and I think that a lot of people out there struggle with getting going in the day. They struggle to be consistent, and I've never had trouble just starting. In fact, I actually have the opposite problem. I need to take a step back and think really before I take action, but I've never had problems starting. I think that this episode is for you. If you have trouble getting going in the day or getting your listings up, I think this episode's for you. So I want to start with how I started reselling in general. I heard about eBay.com. I thought eBay was just collectibles like sneakers or Beanie Babies or brand new electronics. I didn't have any experience with the whole thrifting thing. When I went on the YouTube, I saw a guy named Rake and Profit talk about thrifting at Goodwill, finding blazers and reselling them for a profit. He had a program called Blazing Profits. It was very intriguing to me. I thought, wow, I didn't even know you could sell used clothes on eBay, let alone turn a profit. I was the person donating my clothes, and people are taking those same clothes and flipping them for a profit. I did not even know about any of that. So what I did was I went into a Facebook group and I typed in thrifting to see if there were groups about this. And there was a giant YouTube or Facebook group came up with 40,000 members. And I typed in, can somebody give me an example of an item that they found at Goodwill and walk me through what they did? Did they take it home and then clean it, or how did they get it onto eBay? And somebody posted back, you should just kill yourself if you can't figure out how to list an item on eBay. And I thought, wow, first, that's very strong. Number two, I did not really get discouraged. I just thought, okay, is it that easy that you can just do it? Like, it's so easy that if I can't, I should just jump off a bridge. I thought, okay, let me just try this out. So I didn't get too distracted. I went to Savers because there was a Savers really close to my house. And I was just watching some different videos, and some people sold puzzles, some people sold furniture. And I was just looking for something that I recognized. And puzzles was something really interesting because I came upon, I think they're called Ravensburger, something like that. There's these puzzles that have 3D versions, and I thought those were very interesting because I thought, I'm just going to go to the thrift store and look around to see what I might be interested in selling, because I don't know. And in this world, I call people who sell everything sellers, or some people get that confused with me calling them a hobby seller, but you can be a very successful, very fruitful everything seller. It's just that you need to have really good systems in order to sell everything. And I'll go over that a little bit later in today's episode, but I just looked around for something to sell, and I would go home, photograph it, and list it. I listed right on the floor when I first started. I did not have an inventory system. I just did it to figure out how it works, how the platform works. And if you guys remember, back in the day, in 2017, when I started this channel, it was called 10K on the Bay, because during my research of eBay, it said that for $300, I could list 10,000 items on eBay. And I thought, that is insane. For 3 cents, I can reach everyone on eBay, and eBay has millions of active users every single day. Compare that to right now, I'm selling on the platform Whatnot. My guess is there's only about 5,000 active users. That's it. During any one time on Whatnot, I believe there are about 5,000 active people. On eBay, there are millions of active users 24 hours a day, and it's a global phenomenon. It's the number one website for selling pre-owned things in the world, bar none. Number one, it kills it. All the things, they even say in the commercial, if you can't find it on eBay, it might not exist. So I thought this was really interesting because I just wanted to get going, just get started, just list something and figure it out. And I discovered that you can list 10,000 items for only $300. That's only 3 cents. I thought, wow, this is such a cool opportunity to start a business for really no money, because you can just list an item and you can reach that many people for such a small startup cost. Now, this is the part that's even crazier. When I started on eBay, it was connected to PayPal, so you could get your money right away, and they didn't charge you the insertion fee until after, at the end of the month. So essentially, you could go to the store, list something on eBay with no money, wait for it to sell, get the money in your PayPal account, use the PayPal debit card to pay for it, go home, use that money to ship, and you don't have to come out of your pocket at all to get reselling started. In the way that I recommend you do reselling, I recommend you start at home, list every single thing in your house. I even joke, sell the couch. You can buy another couch later, sit on the floor, sell everything you own, because all that stuff is the fuel that you need to get your business going. When I first started, I actually drove Uber in the morning until I made $100, and then I would work on my business. And I think that really helped me be stable, because it's really hard in the beginning because you don't have any money, you have no resources, and you have no experience. So the very, very beginning part of reselling, I'm going to call this Reseller Mountain. Reseller Mountain is either 3 times your income, or it's your income goal that you pick for yourself. And when I first started, my goal was just sell one item. It wasn't anything grandiose. I literally started with, can I just sell one item? Even before that, I was like, I don't even know how to list an item. How do I list one item, right? Then you get it listed, and then you figure out, okay, wow, there's a lot of components. There's title, there's photography, there's item specifics, there's return policy, there's shipping policy, there's the price of the item, there's promotions. How does all this work? Slowly over time, I learned how all of these different functions work, and it applies to every single platform. eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, Amazon. It's all the same when it comes to presenting a quality product to the best of your ability and offering the best price you can, the best shipping price you can, the best shipping time you can. Everything offering the best you can to actually get that to actually convert to a sale. So I was really, really, really blown away by the fact that you can do this completely at home and with no money. The recommended way from me is start at home, sell as much stuff as you can at home for practice for free, get all that money that you've already bought something before, use that money to buy new items and just test one item at a time. You want to make sure that you don't accidentally buy too many items. And I think that the number one problem with reselling is people overbuying stuff that they don't know anything about. I actually call this reseller fatty liver disease, because it's like you're just overeating so much and it clogs up every single thing in your store, in your house. I remember when I first started, I was in my bedroom, then it moved into the hallway closet, then it moved into the garage. Then I was like, oh man, I really gotta have an intervention or something. So then I moved it all into my garage. That's when I started my videos in 2017. When I first started, I was in my garage doing videos. My system was pile on the floor. I moved to boxes. I moved to bins. I moved to bins on a shelf. I moved to an inventory system that was A to Z. And I thought, okay, I'll just organize it. Box 1 is A, box 2 is B. And I did that for many years until I realized a chronological system is better because it's easier to find. So like that means having your items 1 through 1,000,000 and they're in order. So if you sell number 437, it's between 436 and 438. I learned so many things over the course of 7 years. And I think that a lot of people get mad at me because they say that I change. And here's the thing. In order to become who you want to be, you have to be a different person. In order to get the goals that you're looking for, you have to be a completely different person, because your current self cannot do what it takes to get your future goals. So for me, I embrace the change, and you guys are missing the instructions for daily refinement if you feel like I'm changing, because the goal is to change every day towards your goal. Make progress daily is my mantra. I've been living by it for a long time. And if you guys have been watching me for 7 years, you've seen a tremendous transformation from when I first started doing this at home and then moving it completely out of my house to a storage unit, from a storage unit to a warehouse, from a warehouse now to a bigger warehouse. Me going from doing every single thing by myself to now having a team of over 10 people doing the same thing. I went from every single week trying to figure out how to find supply to learning how to do some of it online to meeting suppliers. And now at this point in my career, I have people calling me with supply, and I can be more picky because I am now the person being chased because I have the volume. My original goal was literally sell one item. Then how can I sell one item per day? Then how can I sell 2 items per day? Now my current goal is to sell over 1,000 items a day. And I went from how can I make some extra money to how can I do $50,000 a year in sales? I remember that was my first goal. How do I make $50,000 a year gross? And profit was about 1/3. So like, how do I make $16,000 a day? $16,000 a year. Now my goals are literally 100x that, because I'm trying to push towards $100,000 a day in sales, and I know I can do it, and I know so much now, but it's all compounding. And I think that this is the most important part, that when I first started, nobody sat me down and said, Chris, the first 1,000 good listings are reseller mountain. They're very, very hard. If you have 1,000 quality listings in your store, you will become unstoppable, because you'll have 10 to 20 items sell for a good profit, $10 to $20 each. You're making $100 to $200 a day profit. And all you have to do is maintain this store. You don't have to grow it anymore. You can just leave it at 1,000 good items, replace the items that sell, and that momentum will carry you. That compounding has already begun and is starting to go. You have a snowball at the top of the mountain. It's now gaining momentum on the way down. If you just replace, the snowball stays the same size. If you reinvest the profits, your snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I heard that over 90% of people give up on their New Year's resolution by January 9th. That's wild. And the number one reason is that something came up. So I want to use my snowball analogy right now. You have a snowball at the top of a mountain and you roll it down. Let's say it hits a branch or a rock on the ground and splits and explodes, and your snowball is dead. In the beginning, when your snowball is small, it's really hard because you have to start over. You've got to walk back to the top of the mountain and start with a marble-sized piece of snow and start that process over again. But I can tell you, once you have 1,000 good items in your store, good quality items that are going to sell in 90 days or less for $10 to $20 profit, your snowball is so big that if a rock hits it, or a bunny, or it hits a tree, it's not going to stop the snowball, because it's already so big and so solid that little things here and there will not knock it off its course. It kind of hurts my feelings, actually, that 90% of people give up on their dreams after just 9 days. One thing comes up and they just give up. I like to teach you guys to be resilient. I actually think that I don't have any expectations when I start something new. I know I'm going to be terrible at it. I'm going to go try some archery in one of these future episodes. I've never shot an arrow before in my entire life, and I do not expect to be good at it. I'm going to go there. I'm not even going to know which way to point the arrow. I have no idea where my hands are supposed to be, what kind of equipment I'm supposed to use. I literally know nothing about the entire sport, but I'm not afraid to try it, and I don't have any expectations. So with reselling, it's just, how can I list one item first? Then how can I optimize it so it can be sold? Once it's sold, how can I do that again in a little bit less time with a little bit less effort? I think that people get super confused when they see me. They're like, oh, I don't want to work that hard. The thing is, in the beginning, you're building this snowball, this reseller snowball that has momentum. There's a lot of hard work in the beginning, but I can promise you, it's a lot easier once the machine has been built and things are starting to go. Items will sell basically automatically once you have an idea of the system to do it. There's so many people out there that get stuck on this, what do I do next? And honestly, you have to think of the very smallest next step that you can do on a listing. When I think of listing, I actually think of it as a spreadsheet that's in order. Like title, okay, pictures, okay, item specific, okay, item condition, item description, shipping description, shipping price, return description, what's your return policy, list. When I think of listing, I think of the form. And I think, okay, I need to go get a new item to put into this form. And I think a lot of people get caught up in needing to be motivated to do it, needing to be inspired, trying to feel some kind of way before they get going. And maybe it's a superpower of mine, but I just look at it like a robot. I just look at it, a listing is me entering the information into this eBay robot. It has nothing to do with my feelings, and I don't let that get in the way. I really just think, what do I need to do next? Title, photos, and then I work on each part to make it a little bit more streamlined. And I promise you, it will take time, but if you think about building one perfect listing, you will be so far ahead of everybody else, because everybody else is thinking about what color Bugatti they're going to buy later because they're going to be so rich. They're literally not paying attention to the most important thing, which is how you do one listing is how you do all your listings. So important to think about how to do a good job one time and then replicate that over and over and over again. That's why I recommend selling similar items in a similar thing. Don't get reseller fatty liver disease, which is, I can give you an example. In my shop right now, I wanted to buy clothing from Neiman Marcus, and it came with all this bedding, which is not my niche. And I can tell you it's causing reseller fatty liver disease in my company because it takes up so much room. I don't know how to ship it. I don't know how to present it. I don't know how to store it. It's clogging up all the veins in my company because it's not something that I'm used to. It doesn't happen overnight for most people because most people aren't buying a truck. They're buying 1 or 2 items they shouldn't be every single time they go thrifting. And it's just like eating a candy bar every single day. Not going to affect you over the course of a day or the course of a week. But over the course of a year, that 1 extra candy bar might be 10 extra pounds. A lot of resellers have been doing this for a really long time. They have really, really clogged up stores. My final piece of advice for today is, if you are in that situation, right, it's exactly the same as how I would start. What I would do is box up everything that you're not currently using, your current death pile, everything in your home that's not bolted down and you don't need to use, box it up. Take 1 box at a time into an area, take out 1 item at a time, and slowly list and sell every single item. When I started my Reseller Nirvana experiment, I sold all these baby books that I had. Every single baby book that I sold did not even net $1. But I was teaching myself, how do I do this with what I have? One of my favorite quotes is Maya Angelou says, do the best that you can until you know better, and then do better. When you're just starting at home, the only thing you have is what you have at home. Sell that first. I've seen plenty of people sell their cell phone, right? Do everything from a computer and a camera, because iPhones are a lot of money. Androids are a lot of money. A camera is not that expensive. So you can thrift a camera for $10, use that camera, use the library for a computer, and really get the snowball going. One more thought. P.S. In the very, very beginning, every single dollar matters so much. And if I could go back to Chris when I first started, I would have said, Chris, every single dollar is so precious because it's building this snowball. Once the snowball is at 1,000 quality listings, your life will never be the same. You'll be able to make sales every single day, and every single sale will get you excited and add money to your bank account and get you revved up. If you do not do that, and you don't build up a store of 1,000 quality items, you fill your store with junk, you might sell 10 pieces of junk and only make $4 total. You're not going to be excited about listing those items. You're not going to be excited about shipping those items. Everything in your store get clogged up, slowly build up all this plaque and decay, and eventually you'll go out of business. I've seen so many resellers not make it over the years. In fact, from when I started in 2017 till now, my 7-year anniversary, most of the resellers that I saw and learned from on YouTube no longer resell at all. They're completely gone. They didn't even make it 7 years. I plan on making this career for the rest of my life, or at least building up something really, really big. And the residual effect of having a YouTube channel for 7 years or a reselling business for 8 years is tremendous. There's so many benefits and networking opportunities that come from being known in your field. So I encourage you guys, get started right now. List your first item. If you're in a rut, just start with 1 item to get you back on track. And if you're killing it, same thing. Master 1 listing. And until next time, guys, make progress daily.